What is up, YouTube? Oh my gosh. So I finally decided to do kind of one of these tier maker videos that I see a lot of people doing. And what better way to do it than to talk about my favorite consoles, and obviously putting them on a scale. So we're going to dive right into it. Sorry for all the ads that kind of pop up off the side. I'm going to try and keep this a little bit clean as possible, but dang guys, I loaded this up and this is just ads. So what we have here is S through F. This was automatically already on here. I just kind of went to a normal template, so we're just going to kind of go with that one. Obviously, S rank is the best. F is forgettable. And what I'm going to kind of vote or rank these by is pretty basic. What I think of the console itself, the games available for it, stuff like playability, history with just kind of the history of the console itself. And just like I said, what I think about the games and everything that goes with it, the controller, and you'll hear everything. So I'll try and get through this as fast as I can because I don't want to make this an extremely long video. So obviously F is going to be the worst consoles if I don't like them at all, or if I have no experience with them. So if there's like I don't know if it's on here, I don't see it. Or if I had no idea what it is by looking at it, I'll let you guys know through that. So, or if it's something just kind of irrelevant. Like, we'll start off with this first one here. I don't see an Xbox One. So I'm assuming that this Xbox One S in itself is the one. So, okay. Oh, nope, I see it. Okay, so I'm going to put the Xbox One S down here in F tier, only because I am not experienced with the S series itself, but I'm going to put the Xbox One up here in B tier. Now, I enjoyed the Xbox One. I had it for many years, before Game Pass and everything like that completely took over. I enjoyed the console. It has a great controller, and yeah, at the time, it didn't really have as many exclusives. Sorry. But we had games like Gears of War, Halo, and everything that went along with that. But I really enjoyed the Xbox One. And then we're going to jump right down into it. Looks like we have the Dreamcast. Unfortunately, I'm going to be putting the Dreamcast at F. Now, that's not to say that I don't think that it's an amazing console. I honestly have not played it much. The only games I've ever really played on it was through my RetroPie, Power Stone, and stuff like that. But I have not gave this console itself enough game time to really give it an accurate one. But also make sure you guys comment below what some of your S tier consoles would be. Next, it looks like the PSP. This one would definitely be for me in a C area. Now, I'm not a huge handheld fan, so you guys will probably see that pop up a lot in some of my descriptions of why I'm rating stuff the way it is. But I did play a few games. I think there was a Ratchet and Clank game, and there was a few other quick ones on the PSP that I did check out. What was that one? I think Crisis Core, and it wasn't a bad console. I just know that down the road you kind of ran into a lot of issues with batteries. Like, I see them for sale nowadays, and everything always says needs a battery. But I honestly was not. It's not a bad little handheld. I just am not going out of my way to buy it. Plus, it's kind of weird that they had their own little DVDs and stuff to watch in there. But I guess if you could watch a DVD on a handheld, that was really cool. So we had the Xbox 360, and some people are probably going to lose their minds over this. But, yeah, I'm putting Xbox 360 at S tier. Now, I know the first thing that's going to pop into people's minds is Red Ring of Death. Well, I never had that. I must have been one of the lucky few that got an Xbox 360 later in life. But I loved the screens. I loved the atmosphere, the community. Yes, you had to pay for Xbox Live and stuff like that, but I think Xbox really peaked at Xbox 360, and to me, that won that console war, and it's one of my favorite consoles. Game Boy SP. Now, this one I'm going to put up here. Oh, man. In B tier. Now, it was backlit, as far as I know, and it played a lot of the older handhelds. That's really all I could say about that. It's pretty elite for that reasons, but once again, I'm not a huge handheld gamer, so you got to take that. Looks like, I'm guessing this is the 3DS. I don't have very much experience with that, so I'm backing that one off. The Genesis I'm going to put up here, probably in B tier. Now, growing up, I was a Genesis kid, so I'm a little partial towards it. It had a lot of great games like Sonic, Vector Man, Ren and Stimpy's, I think, Strange Invention, sorry. And it's just in general a very good console. I was not a big fan of the 3-button controller. When I finally got a 6-button controller, it was amazing though, because then you could finally play fighting games instead of weird combos that went with that. But it was a great console, and it had absolutely the best sports games on it as well. PS2 is definitely S tier for me. And then it looks like there's a PS2 Slim right behind that, so we'll just throw both those up there because it's the same damn console. Just, we'll go with that. But now, I loved the PS2. Not only did it have some of the best RPGs known to man, but it was an amazing console in itself. I just loved everything it was to do about it. It had great games. The controller really peaked, and over the years, PlayStation really hasn't changed it much with the 2 analog sticks down there. Next, we have the OG Xbox, which I'm going to put up in A tier. Now, I was one of the few buddies of mine that actually got an OG Xbox. Otherwise, a lot of my friends at the time had gotten PS2s. So, and I loved Halo, I loved NFL Fever, and I discovered games like Morrowind and Jade Empire, which to this day are still some of my favorite games. Now the Wii, this is my first F tier that I actually legitimately think is F tier. Now, the only thing that I loved on the Wii was Wii Sports. And I hate to say that, some people are going to be super mad about this one, but I did not like the Wii at all. I don't like motion controls and none of that. I didn't even like playing Twilight Princess and stuff on it because it was horrible. I just do not like the Wii at all. And now it's going to be the exact opposite here right now with the Wii U. That's going up to A tier for me. Most of the games that I like to enjoy playing on the Switch were amazing on the Wii U. And I think that I love the handheld setting on that. Like I said, I'm not a handheld gamer, but I love the handheld on that. And then really, once you got the Pro controller itself too, that was absolutely amazing to have. I love the Wii U, and it has amazing, great games. This must be, looks like the PS4. The PS4 to me is going to go definitely in A tier. Now, you'll notice coming up with the PS3, I have a totally different opinion on that one. But the PS4 is what got me back to playing Sony, having Sony consoles. I had, like I said, Xbox for most of the years. But games like being able to go and play Last of Us now, God of War, God, I can't even think of any restable right now. But it was absolutely amazing console. And then I think for the most part, for the longest time, I felt so bad for putting it off, but I just loved everything about it. Like I said, the Sony controller was just amazing. I think Xbox and Sony really stuck with what they had, and it was absolutely great. Next, we have the Switch. Oof. Once again, this one's D tier for me. Now, there's a big reason why, and that is I absolutely hate the Joy-Cons. Hate them. I think we've gone through so many of those damn things, and we've treated them right. They either get horrible drift, or they just don't work right, and they're small, and they feel like they're going to break in your hands. And yes, there'll be the people out there saying, just get a Pro controller, just get a Pro controller. But either way, these controllers are not whatever. And besides the Zelda games and the Mario games, we really don't touch our Switch anymore. It's all PS5 or Xbox. But that's not to say that the Mario games themselves aren't extremely fun. But we basically use it for when people come over. And that's kind of about the only time it gets played. Xbox Series S, or X, sorry. As of right now, I'm putting it in F tier because I finally just picked one up. And I really don't know too much about it yet. But if it's similar to the Xbox One, I'm sure I'm going to love it. Atari gets a D. The only reason I'm putting it as D is it's the OG, man. But otherwise, I'm sorry, but I'm not nostalgic for it. I don't like the games on it. I think it looks cool, especially when you get something like the Darth Vader one or the wood grain one. But just not my thing, man. So this looks like the Xbox 360 again. I'm just going to throw it up here with the other one. I'm guessing this is the OG Game Boy. I'm going to put this one down here. Probably at C tier. Now, I like the Game Boy. I didn't have one of these old big brick ones. But, you know, it is what it is. It was kind of a... it was probably one of Nintendo's best consoles besides the NES when it came out. But this is the one I'm going to put up here at A tier for the Game Boy Color, because this was the pinnacle. I remember getting Game Boy Color and absolutely loving it, and then getting Pokemon and a couple of the other Pokemon games. And yeah, obviously this was my go-to thing for riding the bus and everything like that, so I'm definitely going with that. Game Gear I have really no experience with. I'm guessing this PSP is the PSP Go. Kind of don't know much about that. I don't know if I can tell what that is, so I'll just put that down for forgettable too. The Game Boy Advance I'm throwing up into... I'm going to make a change here. I'm going to put the Game Boy Advance SP into A tier and the Game Boy Advance itself down to B tier. Now, the Game Boy Advance was awesome. It's got some great games on it, but it did have the one thing that didn't have a backlit. I have one now that I've installed a backlit on, which is nice, but yeah. Going on next to the Sega Sat. Sorry, I'm kind of pushing through it really fast now, but I kind of just was like, noticed that we're already at about 11 minutes and I was barely making a dent. Sega Saturn I do not have enough experience with the Dreamcast. I never really had one. I know it has great games like Virtual Fighter, Knights, and stuff like that. This I'm guessing is the Game Boy Pocket. So I'm actually just going to put that down with C tier with the original Game Boy, because that's all it is, it's smaller. Now the PS5 I'm putting up in S tier. I love this console. It's my go-to console. I play everything on it right now, and I just absolutely love it. And that's really all I could say about that. The original PS1 I would have to put up here in A tier, because yeah, it's when everybody else got an N64, I got a PS1. I played great games like Crash Bandicoot, Tomb Raider, Twisted Metal, Final Fantasy, Breath of Fire, and all these other games, and it really kind of made its way into my life with gaming. It's one of the first consoles that I really extremely loved and remember. GameCube is going down to C tier for me. I hate the controller. I'm sorry, guys. I hate the controller. It's got a lot of great games like Smash Brothers Melee, Zelda, and everything like that. But to me, it's just not... I don't know. Maybe it's because I didn't have one growing up, but it's not as good as I would hope. The NES, I would have to put up here in B tier. Now, obviously, my first gaming memories are Super Mario Bros. 3, Contra, Jackal, games like that. And the controller itself is very basic, and I love that. But obviously, I can't put it up much higher than that because I don't really play it as much as I should. A lot of the games I don't really enjoy. But like I said, it was my first experience playing gaming itself, so that's always... And I just love the way it looks, too. There's something about that. But the Super NES, on the other hand, is jumping up to S tier. This is one of my first few experiences with, with RPGs, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and just Super Mario World in general are some of the best games I've ever played. This is just a PlayStation 1 with the screen. I actually have one of those. Very rare. You don't really ever see those. Nintendo 64 is a D tier for me. I'm not a fan of the controller, and I mean, obviously I like games like GoldenEye, Turok, Ocarina of Time, but those can't save it from how kind of crappy it is, guys. You know, sure, some people might not like that, but that's really what it was to me. PS3 I would have to put probably around C tier. I did not have one growing up. I actually hadn't got one until a few years ago, and by that time I was already playing all the games that were exclusive to it on the PS4, so it's not really too much experience with it. But we did play a lot of Twisted Metal and some other games at my buddy's house that had one. It looks like it's just another Xbox 360, so I'll just put that one. Why would you put so many of those? Another PS3. Once again, not used to Nintendo DS's. Virtual Boy, we're putting that down at F rating, and if you gotta ask why, then I don't know if you play games. And then lastly, that must just be an Xbox One. So there's kind of a quick go at my list. Now, a lot of these, obviously, that stand out: Xbox 360, Super Nintendo, PS5. Going down, we know we have the Wii U, the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy SP, and everything that goes with that. But that's just kind of my quick list, guys. If you'd like to see one where me going actually more into detail on why some of these I've chosen are S tier, because like I said, I kind of noticed at one point it's like, oh man, I'm already at freaking 11 minutes and we're only halfway through. So I want to know what your guys' opinions on there before. Is there anything in here? Obviously, there's going to be some in here that you guys do not agree with, but that's okay. So just let me know in the description or in the comments below. But yeah, if you guys would like to see more videos like this, let me know too. Maybe I can do like franchises or video game characters or something like that. So with that being said, stay retro, my friends, and we'll see you in the next video.